Did you appreciate defensive coordinator Dennis Allen projecting the positive where his defense is concerned? Allen underscored the point Ben Johnson made yesterday. It's all about points.
Well, ultimately, you look at points allowed. That's the number one thing. And look, it's not always as clean as we want it to be, not always as pretty as we want it to be. But our job is to give us an opportunity to win. And look, those things are all. There's a lot of things that go into those things. There's us being able to get off the field. I think the last couple of weeks we've kind of hit a deal where we haven't done a good job of getting off the field, we hadn't maintained possession as much offensively as we have in a lot of games. So that's how some of that stuff works, and yet we had a chance to win both of those games. Comes down to the very end of the game, and you have a chance to win. Sometimes you're going to win those, sometimes you're not. But I think the more often you put yourself in those positions to have an opportunity to win, the better your opportunities are.
Appreciate those comments?
Nah, I didn't like him. I didn't like Dennis Allen yesterday. I just want to be honest about it. I could sit here and pretend like, oh yeah, I totally agree, and I nodded my head the whole time. And I listened to Dennis Allen, and then I reread the transcript, and I'm like, total rationalization. I get the points and yards thing. That's what defensive coordinators or fans of or players that on that defense, that's what they say to support the idea that everything's fine. I watched that Bears team. You can watch the game a second time. Everything's not fine. This is a defense in peril. This is a defense that can't stop the run. They can't get to the quarterback. You've got a quarterback when he isn't pressured is the top-rated passer in the NFL. Clay Harbor came up with that stat yesterday, courtesy of PFF. You need to get to Jordan Love. You need to stop the run. Everything is not okay. I know you only gave up 19 points, goodness sakes, but you gave up a ton of yards for the third week in a row. I know that you don't necessarily have to get in front of everybody and say how bad and vulnerable you are, but I would like to hear a little bit more of a challenging tone than we heard. I'd like to hear somebody explain to me, or ask Dennis Allen, for goodness sakes, what he thought about being called out by his strong safety. Did anybody ask Dennis Allen about Jaquan Brisker saying they were out-schemed? I want a little edge. I want the Ben Johnson edge. I don't think I heard that. I like Dennis Allen. I think he's been the most valuable assistant coach based on how he has helped Ben Johnson be a better head coach. But I wasn't really satisfied with what I heard yesterday.
I agree with you, David. Amen to that. I don't mind the projecting of the positive as it's written in the question. I think that's a good thing on the short week, coming off the loss, playing a heated rival. You're trying to accentuate some of the positives, but it goes back to what I've been bothered by, and it can be a drinking game if you need one on Saturday night. The bend but don't break Bears defense. The bend that don't break. I mean, Kevin Burkhardt will say that at least 4 times. If he needs to.
Al.
Oh, it's Al. Shoot. Well, maybe Al won't say it. He'll talk about the over-under and his steak at halftime.
I think that it's a very interesting point that you make. I liked hearing it from Ben Johnson. It's all on us. It's not them. Look at the position we put them in. They limited them to 19 points. That's enough to win. They did their job. That's great when the offensive guy is telling you that. But when the defensive guy says it, that doesn't ring well. It's the defensive guy is supposed to say, we should have limited to less points, and we got to get better, and we got to. It made me feel like Ruh-roh. This defense is really awful. Like they're not even in a position to challenge them because there's no response that would be good enough for a challenge. So you got to go positive. When you see that, I'll tell you what this made me think. As I listened to it and then reread it, it made me feel like this is about a 8-game possession. They're going to have to run the living poop out of the ball. They're going to have to do everything that they can do to drive down to the 4-yard line. Don't be hiking the ball between anyone's legs. Score the touchdown from that point, no matter what. Get points out of it no matter what, even if you got to kick a field goal. Do not pass up on an opportunity to score, because that's what's going to – this game is going to be a limited possession game if indeed you are going to run more, which you should, and you are going to pound the ball, which you should, and you're going to try to limit them the possessions to score. Try not to give up points on half the possessions. That's what this game's going to come down to, and it really shot like a little fear through me, the idea that the defensive coach can't even call out his guys at this point.
Yeah, I'll let Ben handle that question.
What did you make of Declan Doyle reinforcing the need for a fast start offensively Saturday when he said this?
The biggest thing is we're going to get what we practice all week. And so starting fast is about our focus during the week, finishing the prep and finalizing that, feeling really good about going and playing fast on Sunday. And so, and Saturday specific to this week. But, that's the biggest thing. We have to refocus our guys, and things are going to happen. Ups and downs happen all the time, and it's about how we respond to that.
Do you think that means the Bears simplify motions and formations again, or get more elaborate to deceive, and does it matter?
Hope to God they don't get more elaborate to deceive when first we practice to deceive. I'll go back to that last game against the Packers. It put a shockwave through the team that they marched down the field like they did and then fell apart with a way too cute trick play. So I would bar that from going on. Don't go with the way too cute trick play unless you're in serious trouble. Don't start showing off any kind of nonsense. If you're running the ball as well as they did in that drive, continue to run the ball, get a yard, get a first down, first and goal, pound the ball in. That was the mistake in that game, and I think it set them back. I think they were in a form of shock for a couple of series after.
I would like the game plan to be more engaging to the players, definitely this week. I feel like that kind of carried over onto the field when Ben Johnson talked about it wasn't exactly our most elaborate, our most intriguing, our most exciting game plan of the week. Mully, I'll go back to something you said a moment ago, though. Run the heck out of the ball, okay? It can be a really good defense against Jordan Love and those crossing patterns and the running back and Watkins. Run the ball. Keep their offense standing around on the sideline. That your running game can be a
Derrick Henry them to death.
That would be nice. I don't know that they have the Derrick Henry type. Nobody really has a Derrick Henry type except the Ravens. But I would like to see them be a little bit more fancy, if you will, to get the players' attention. But run the ball. Keep the Packers on the sideline. If they want to play for 5 more weeks, you got to establish that run.
I don't need the fancy, if you will, motion and shifting and all of the pre-snap stuff that sets up things for later. I understand the value of those, especially in the regular season, but this is a different scenario, and playoff football tends to be a little bit different, and it is in this way. You want to establish a strength early and often, and you want to identify what that is, and you want to lean into it as much as you can. If you look at this game and these rosters in both teams, to me, the best unit of all of them, if you rank, offensive line, Packers, Bears, defensive secondary, Packers, all those things, the Bears' offensive line is the best unit in this game. So knowing that and feeling that, you want to deal from a position of strength. The best way to establish that is to early on lean into it. Don't worry about complimenting. Don't worry about the periphery. Don't worry about the accessories. Just run the ball, punch him in the mouth, and go do it again and again and again. And that's how also, number one, you establish an identity and lean into your strength. And number two, you help your weakest spot and your weakest unit, the defensive line, stopping their running game because you're keeping their offense on the field. So all those things tell me, keep it simple and don't worry about shifting motions and getting clever.
Amen.
Just play playoff football and punch them in the mouth.
Don't you want the flower to try to say at halftime, well, we got to stop the run somehow? Because, when you start running on a team, what gets worse? The run defense gets worse.
Run defense gets worse. You wear them down. And then when the offense does get the ball, you tend to maybe rush a little bit, hurry a little bit, get out of rhythm, and maybe lean on the passing game more than you do the running game. That, to me, is what the formula should be for success.